I washed my face before the dawn, but traces of the night stayed on. The bathroom mirror caught my eyes, still red from all my small goodbyes. I heard the kettle start to sing and thought of every little thing. The way you stirred your coffee slow, the way you smiled before you'd go. I tried to keep my sorrow small, but grief kept writing on the walls. Each drop that touched my tired skin carried a place where you had been. I loved you in every tear, in every night I wished you near. Each silver line across my face still carried something time can't erase. I cried for words we never spoke, for all the little dreams that broke. Even when you disappeared, I loved you in every tear. Took the train across the town and watched the winter sun go down. My reflection shook against the glass like someone trapped inside the past. I saw our corner near the square, the place you fixed my tangled hair. I turned away before the stop, but memory doesn't know when to stop. I kept my sadness out of sight, then let it breathe alone at night. The moon moved slowly past my room, while missing you became the gloom. I loved you in every tear, through every month you weren't here. Each falling drop became a sea between the girl I was and me. I cried for mornings we won't share, for empty hands and vacant chairs. Though your voice no longer reached my ear, I loved you in every tear. Some tears were soft, some came like rain. Some left no mark, some left a stain. Some fell because I missed your touch, some because I loved too much. But the hardest ones arrived too late, when I stopped waiting at the gate. 'Cause letting go made one thing clear: my final love became a tear. I loved you in every tear, but I can't keep you living here. My eyes are tired, my soul is sore. I can't keep crying anymore. Still, if one drop falls tonight, I'll let it leave beneath the light. Not every memory disappears. I loved you through 1,000 tears. One for your smile, one for your name, one for the love that never stayed. The night grows still, the morning nears. I loved you once in every tear. I changed my plans to fit your days and learned to bend in quiet ways. I lowered every dream I had, just so your leaving hurt less bad. I kept your worries in my chest and gave your restless heart my rest. Whenever you were falling low, I hid my tears and held you close. I placed your wishes over mine and called that sacrifice divine. I thought that giving all I had could keep our ending from turning sad. I loved you past myself, put every dream upon a shelf. I gave you more than I could spare, until there was no me left there. I crossed my limits one by one, still chasing what we'd once begun. You found your freedom somewhere else, while I loved you past myself. I stopped wearing my favorite dress. You said the color looked like less. I missed old friends to stay nearby, then told them I was doing fine. My music slowly left the room, my favorite flower ceased to bloom. I shaped my laughter to your mood and forgot the things I used to choose. The mirror held a stranger's face, a tired girl who'd lost her place. She looked at me with hollow eyes, as if she knew my heart had lied. I loved you past myself, left every hope upon a shelf. I gave you mornings, gave you years, and washed your storms with hidden tears. I lost my voice to keep the peace, believing love meant giving pieces. You walked away with someone else, and I had nothing of myself. I don't regret the heart I gave, but I regret the girl I changed. She had a fire, soft but strong, before she learned to live all wrong. Now I must find her in the dust, teach her to dream, teach her to trust. I know the road will hurt like hell, but I deserve to know myself. I loved you past myself, until my soul cried out for help. I gave away my brightest days to keep a love that wouldn't stay. Now every tear becomes a step toward all the parts of me I left. You may be gone with someone else, but I'm coming back to myself. I lost my voice, I lost my way, I lost the girl I was one day. You left my life, the silence fell. I loved you past myself. I knew your heart was turning cold, but mine still reached for yours to hold. I saw the distance in your stare, yet told myself that love was there. I heard the doubt behind your voice, still loving you remained my choice. Each tender word became a bruise, but I was scared of losing you. I hid my tears beneath a smile and walked beside you every mile. gave me reasons to depart. I gave you pieces of my heart. I loved you through the hurt, through every promise left in dirt. I held your hand while losing mine, and called the sorrow something fine. I stayed when staying made me worse. I kissed the wound, ignored the curse. You let our heaven turn to earth. Still I loved you through the hurt. I learned to read your quiet face, to feel alone in your embrace. I waited for the man I knew, while every day brought someone new. The flowers dried beside the frame, but I kept whispering your name. I wore my patience like a thread, until it broke from words unsaid. I made excuses for your change, though being near you felt so strange. I held the door against the wind, while you had stopped coming in. I loved you through the hurt, through nights when loneliness came first. I gave you warmth, you gave me rain, yet I returned to you again. I lost my sleep to keep us whole, while silence slowly drained my soul. You watched our colors fade to dirt. Still I loved you through the hurt. Maybe I confused love with pain, believing storms would end in rainbows. Maybe I stayed because I feared the empty life when you disappeared. But now I know a heart can break from every little choice we make. I gave you more than I could spare, and slowly vanished, standing there. I loved you through the hurt, until I forgot what I was worth. I carried us on tired bones, while you were already moving on. Now I must gather what remains, and learn to breathe beyond your name. You were my sweetest, deepest hurt, and I loved you through the hurt. I gave you light, you gave me scars. I stayed too close, you went too far. The tears may dry, the ache may fade, but I still mourn the love I gave. I saw the winter in your eyes, but searched for warmth behind the ice. You spoke to me in shorter lines. Still I remembered kinder times. I kept your place beside my own, though I felt lonely in our home. I told myself your love was tired, not something lost, not something expired. I waited for one softer glance, one little sign, one final chance. I thought the man I used to know was somewhere underneath the snow. I stayed for your heart, even when it moved so fast. changing tides and kept my questions locked inside. I cooked your favorite meal at 8, then watched it cool while I would wait. Your footsteps crossed the wooden floor, but never stopped beside my door. We shared a roof, we shared a name, yet nothing underneath was same. I saved each memory like a thread and stitched them through the things unsaid. I thought our past could pull you near, but yesterday can't keep love here. I stayed for your heart while mine was breaking in the dark. I gave you patience, gave you space, and watched myself lose shape and place. I kept one candle through the cold, still dreaming of the hand I'd hold. You were already worlds apart, but I stayed for your heart. I wasn't waiting for a ring or grand apologies you'd bring. I only wanted you to see the girl who still believed in we. But love cannot be begged awake or kept alive for pity's sake. I finally learned what hurt the most. I loved a heart that had gone closed. I stayed for your heart until I couldn't tell us apart. From all the dreams I made alone inside a house that wasn't home. Now I am walking through the ache with every fragile step I take. I lost myself trying so hard because I stayed for your heart. I waited long, I waited near. I gave you love, I swallowed fear. You never turned, you never asked. I stayed for you. You chose the past. I saw the distance in your eyes, but covered truth with gentle lies. I heard the coldness in your voice, still leaving never felt a choice. I kept the table set for two, though every night I waited through. The candles drowned in melted gold, while both my hands were growing cold. I called your silence something kind, and left my deepest doubts behind. I gave each warning one more chance, then watched you fade beyond my hands. I stayed too long in love, long after you had given up. I kept the light beside the door for someone coming home no more. I poured my heart into your hands, like rain disappearing into sand. I should have left when hope was gone, but I stayed in love too long. I learned to sleep beside the space where once I woke to see your face. I wore a smile throughout the day, then cried when daylight slipped away. Your photograph grew pale with dust, like every promise, every trust. I kept your sweater near my bed to warm the words you never said. I blame the seasons for the change, pretending we were still the same. I fixed each crack with fragile hope until my heart forgot to cope. I stayed too long in love beneath the sky that closed above. I waited through the quiet rain, believing you would come again. I gave my spring to endless snow and lost the girl I used to know. I should have seen what silence meant before my final hope was spent. I was afraid of empty rooms, so I kept watering dead blooms. I feared the dark beyond goodbye, so I believed another lie. But loving you became a chain, a tender ache, a hidden pain. I held the ashes to my chest and called the burning happiness. I stayed too long in love until my heart had cried enough. I lost my sleep, I lost my song, trying to prove that we belong. Now I can see the bitter cost of holding what was already lost. You left my world before you were gone, and I stayed in love too long. The door is closed, the candle died. No more excuses left to hide. I loved you deep, I held on strong. You left too soon, I stayed too long. The morning found your closet bare, one empty hanger swinging there. Your key was resting by the phone, a quiet sign I was alone. I read the room from wall to wall, but found no reason there at all. You took your coat, your books, your shoes, and left me nothing I could use. I called your name into the hall, my own voice gave me back the call. No final answer crossed the air, only the truth that you weren't there. You left me in silence, with questions burning in my chest. No goodbye to hold against me, no final words to let me rest. I searched the dark for one small reason, I begged the night for evidence. You took the love, you took the meaning, and left me here in silence. Wears a silver mist. I stand where we shared our first kiss. A stranger laughs across the street, and memory shakes beneath my feet. I buy the bread you used to choose, then catch myself and feel confused. Small habits hurt in quiet ways, they keep you living through my days. I wonder where your heart first turned, which hidden bridge behind me burned. Was I the last one left to see that you had stopped believing in me? You left me in silence, with every answer out of reach. I listened for regret at midnight, but heard the pipes beneath the street. I held my tears until the morning, then watched them fall without defense. You closed our story without warning and left me here in silence. If you had said my love is gone, I might have learned to carry on. If you had faced my wounded eyes, at least I'd have a real goodbye. Instead I had to name the end and mourn a lover and a friend. I buried us without a sound, while all my tears fell to the ground. You left me in silence, but silence taught me what was true. I was holding every promise, while none were being held by you. I still have nights when grief surrounds me and old regrets become intense, but I won't spend my life still waiting for a voice inside the silence. Your key is gone, the lock is changed, the room feels wide, my life feels strange. You gave no reason, no last sentence. You walked away and left me silence. I watched your shadow leave the hall. No final kiss, no tears at all. The door went still, the room turned gray, and all my warmth just slipped away. Your coffee cup is cold and dry, like every promise, every lie. I touch the chair where you once stayed and feel the lonely choice you made. I gave you every tender part. You walked away and left the scar. Now silence sleeps beside my bed, while old goodbyes fill up my head. You left my heart open in the rain, with no safe place to hide the pain. I loved you soft, I loved you true. Now every road still leads to you. You took the light out of my sky and left me here to ask you why. I close my eyes, but tears still start. You left the door wide in my heart. The moon looks pale against the glass. I count the hours slowly pass. Your faded picture faces down beside the dress I wore downtown. I hear a song we used to know. Its quiet notes move sad and slow. My hands are cold, breath, like one last rose I could not save. But morning comes without your face, and sorrow fills your empty space. You left my heart open in the rain, with no safe place to hide the pain. I loved you deep, I loved you whole. Now winter lives inside my soul. You took the warmth out of my days, but memories still know your ways. I try to heal, but fall apart. You left a window in my heart. Maybe one day I'll hear your name and feel no fire, no sudden flame. Maybe your ghost will fade from view, and I will stop reaching for you. But tonight I'm still that lonely girl, holding pieces of a broken world. I know our story found its end, still part of me waits once again. You left my heart open to the storm, still searching for your vanished warmth. I gave you dreams I cannot find. You left their fragile dust behind. I'll gather every shattered part and learn to guard my wounded heart. But somewhere deep, one truth remains: I loved you through the darkest days. The room grows quiet, morning starts, soft light falls on forgotten scars. I whisper low, though you won't know. You left my heart open, and I'm learning to let you go. We used to talk until sunrise, with sleepy smiles and shining eyes. I thought our world was built to stay, but little cracks grew every day. You stopped asking how I felt, while I kept playing the hand I was dealt. Your kisses changed, your touch grew thin, and loneliness slowly settled in. I felt you drifting out of reach, like footprints fading from the beach. I tried to pull you close to me, but love was sinking silently. This is the love that fell apart, piece by piece inside my heart. No single storm, no final fight, just fading colors, losing light. I watched forever lose its name, while you and I became strangers again. I held the ending from the start of the love that fell apart. The sounded blurred. I learned the weight of sitting near someone whose soul was nowhere here. I kept our memories in a drawer, small paper dreams from days before. A movie stub, a dried out rose, tiny remains of what I chose. I traced the places we once knew, but every street felt strange without you. The city moved beneath the rain while I walked home with quiet pain. This is the love that fell apart, leaving dust across my heart. The warmth we shared became chill. The room grew loud by being still. I tried to save what wouldn't stay, but some things disappear that way. I carried every broken part of the love that fell apart. I don't know when we lost the spark or who first learned to love the dark. Maybe goodbye began the day we had nothing honest left to say. I only know I gave my best until the ache lived in my chest. I love the person you had been while losing who I was within. This was the love that fell apart, a quiet ending, a wounded heart. I watched our seasons turn to gray and felt your tenderness decay. Now I am standing on my own, learning the shape of being alone. Still one old memory leaves its mark from the love that fell apart. No shattered glass, no angry sound, just two lost souls on different ground. We had a flame, we had a start, then silence took our love apart. I gave you Sundays soft and slow, the hidden parts I rarely showed. I let you read my secret fears and trusted you with fragile years. You held my hopes with careless hands and slowly changed our future plans. I felt the distance cross your face until I knew I'd lost my place. I never needed perfect skies, just something honest in your eyes. But every answer came too late, and tenderness gave way to fate. I was the love you couldn't keep, the name that vanished from your sleep. I gave you roots, you chose the road. I shared my warmth, you dropped the load. I was a promise in your hands, a castle written in the sand. You had my heart sincere and deep. I was the love you couldn't keep. I found my earring by the stairs, a tiny moon still shining there. It took me back to warmer nights when we were dancing under lights. Now every song inside the store pulls days before I leave my basket, walk outside and let the evening see me cry. I wonder if you ever miss the girl who lived inside your kiss. Or did you close that chapter clean and lose the meaning in between? I was the love you couldn't keep, the tender truth you buried deep. I gave you calm, you chased the wild. I gave you faith, you left it tired. I was the home you passed beside, the steady shore you left behind. You knew my soul, yet chose to leave. I was the love you couldn't keep. Maybe one night, years from now, you'll hear my laughter in a crowd. You'll turn around and search the room, then feel an old forgotten wound. Maybe you'll learn what you let go when winter settles in your soul. But I won't wait for your regret. I've paid enough for loving yet. I was the love you couldn't keep, but I won't drown where sorrow sleeps. I'll gather all you left undone and find my way toward another sun. Still some nights ache beneath my skin for who we were and might have been. You had a love both true and deep. I was the love you couldn't keep. I gave you trust, you gave me doubt. I let you in, you shut me out. My heart was yours, so true, so deep. I was the love you couldn't keep. You stopped calling after dark, and I watched us lose our spark. Your replies grew short and late. While I waited by the gate, I could feel you moving far, like a train beneath the stars. Still I searched your quiet face for the love I couldn't trace. There was no fight, no final scene, just colder spaces in between. I asked if something had gone wrong. You said I'm tired and carried on. It was the end you never said, a silent truth above my bed. You left me reading every sign while I still called your future mine. No last goodbye, no closing word, only questions left unheard. You broke my heart and walked ahead into the end you never said. Your jacket vanished from the hall, then one by one you took it all. A book was gone, a silver key, small signs you planned to leave me. I found a note without a name, 2 empty lines beside the date. I held that paper to my chest and knew the truth behind the rest. The room felt larger than before, my heartbeat echoed near the door. I finally knew what silence meant. Your love had left before you went. Maybe I could have moved along if you had looked into my eyes. I might have learned to face goodbye, but you made silence choose for you and left me guessing what was true. I had to bury all our years without a grave beneath my tears. It was the end you never said, the kind that follows where I fled. I lost you slowly day by day before you finally walked away. Now I am learning not to wait or leave my heart beside your gate. But every night one thought is spread. Why couldn't you say this was the end? No final kiss, no last embrace, just less of you in every place. I heard goodbye inside my head, in every word you never said. Try to shake you off like a fever, put your name out of my mouth. How'd it taste so sweet, your name on repeat? Now you're not around, now you're not around. I was running out of ways to show you, but I kept it all. I kept it all. My heart still calls your name in the dark of night, with no hope of you inside. It's like I don't have a say in the lonely times where my memories don't die. My heart still calls, my heart still calls your name. Gave you all of my light, you took it all and left me blind. Oh, I hate the days when you fill my brain. All my tears are dried, now you're not around. I was running out of ways to show you, but I kept it all. I kept it all. My heart still calls your name in the dark of night, with no hope of you inside. noticed how your eyes looked past me, like I was someone you once knew. Your morning kiss became a habit, a little touch without the truth. I kept the curtains open longer, hoping light could warm the room. But every sunset felt much colder, and every flower lost its bloom. I heard goodbye beneath your breathing, felt the ending in your hands. Still I gathered broken moments, trying hard to make them stand. I stayed in fading love too long, still humming our forgotten song. You were leaving day by day, I kept begging hope to stay. I held the ashes of our flame and whispered softly to your name. You were gone before you moved. I stayed in fading love with you. The mirror caught me crying softly while I tied my hair at dawn. I wore the blue dress you once loved, but your tender gaze was gone. Our photographs looked almost foreign, two bright faces side by side. I touched the glass with shaking fingers, missing who I was inside. I filled the quiet with excuses, called your distance tired days, but lonely hearts know hidden endings. Even when the mouth still stays, I stayed in fading love too long, where every right became a wrong. You kept walking toward goodbye, I kept painting blue skies. I saved a dream already torn and waited through another dawn. You had nothing left to prove. I stayed in fading love with you. I thought devotion meant endurance, that true hearts never walked away. So I became a quiet shadow, losing pieces every day. I watered roses without roots, I guarded doors without a key. I tried to save what had no future, until I barely recognized me. I stayed in fading love too long, but now I know where I belong. Not inside a dying dream, not beside a silent scene. I'll carry scars beneath my skin, but someday light will enter in. I lost the life I thought I knew by staying in fading love with you. The room is still, the morning grows. I close the door, the cold wind slows. Some love ends before we move, and I stay too long in fading love with you. dim my colors for your eyes, and folded dreams to fit your life. I spoke more softly every day, so nothing made you turn away. I learned to walk behind your pace, and gave my wishes smaller space. You filled the room, I hugged the wall, until I barely spoke at all. I thought that love meant standing near, even when I disappeared. I called my fading loyalty, while losing every piece of me. I stayed in your shadow now, forgot the sun, forgot somehow the girl I was before your name became the center of my days. I made myself so small for you, I lost my voice, my point of view. You left and I am wondering how I stayed in your shadow now. My old red shoes collect the dust. I stopped wearing what I loved. The songs I played before we met sound like a girl I can't forget. I found a notebook from before, full of places I'd explore. Each page held plans I pushed aside to keep you happy by my side. I read my handwriting at dawn and met the girl I thought was gone. She asked me why I gave away the brightest pieces of my days. I stayed in your shadow now, beneath the love that shut me out. I gave my sunlight to your sky, then wondered why my world went white. I carried all your heavy moods and lost my own forgotten truths. You never asked what pulled me down. I stayed in your shadow now. I miss the woman I once knew, before my world was shaped by you. She laughed too loud, she dreamed too wide. She never needed somewhere to hide. Tonight I'll leave one window bare and let the morning touch my hair. Maybe healing starts this way, by choosing one small thing each day. I stayed in your shadow now, but I'm finding daylight somehow. The ache still follows every step, yet I have dreams you never kept. You took your road, I lost my map, but I won't spend my life like that. Though lonely tears are falling now, I'm walking from your shadow now. You see my face, I hear my name. The mirror holds a softer pain. You had the sun I lost somehow, but I won't live in your shadow now. I kept the porch light burning late, and listened softly by the gate. Each passing car would lift my head, then leave another hope for dead. I marked the weeks upon the wall, But every Sunday came and went, and took a little confidence. I thought the distance had an end, that missing me would bring you back again. I never knew a heart could learn to wait for love that won't return. You were the love that didn't return, the lesson my lonely heart had to learn. I saved you a place through every season, while you disappeared without a reason. I kept our memories safe from the rain, and whispered your name through every pain. I watched each candle fade and burn, waiting for the love that didn't return. I wore the earrings from that night, when city windows glowed with light. I took the long way past the square, still half believing you'd be there. The bakery closed before the snow, the old street changed from years ago. But I remained where you had been, still living in a might have been. I gave the months 1,000 names, not yet, someday he'll come again. But time was kinder than my hope, it showed me how to slowly let go. You were the love that didn't return, the empty page my tears had blurred. I kept the window open wide, while life was moving on outside. I saved old stories in a drawer, and counted steps across the floor. My heart kept reaching past concern, for the love that didn't return. Maybe I wasn't waiting for you, but for the girl who thought love was true. She believed that hearts came home, but no one leaves a soul alone. I wish I could hold her tonight, and tell her she'll survive the night. Some doors stay closed, some bridges burn, some love leaves once and won't return. You were the love that didn't return, but now my hands release the hurt. I won't keep winter in my room, or wait beside a flower that won't bloom. Still, when the evening settles low, a tender ache begins to grow. Not every wound needs your concern. I survived the love that didn't return. The porch is dark, the gate is still. I stopped believing that someday you will. I waited long, I finally learned you were my love, but you never returned. You used to notice when I sighed and pull me gently to your side. You knew the meaning in my eyes before my feelings learned to hide. And something shifted in your tone. I felt more lonely near you than alone. Your hands were close, your mind was far. I watched you fade from who you are. I searched your face for yesterday, but every tender look had slipped away. I kept believing love remained while losing you in every change. I still remember the way you changed, how something warm became so strange. Your sweetest words grew short and small, until you barely spoke at all. I watched your heart close every gate, while mine stood there and chose to wait. I never knew love could feel this way. I broke a little with every change. Your messages became one line, and every answer took more time. You stopped asking where I'd been, or what was hurting me within. We sat together, worlds apart, two quiet bodies, one tired heart. The space between us learned to grow, while I pretended not to know. I blamed the work, the restless days, the passing months, the crowded trains, anything but what I knew. I was slowly disappearing from you. I still remember the way you changed, how love grew distant, cold and strange. The arms that once had sheltered me became a place I couldn't reach. I tried to find the man before, behind the eyes I once adored, but every morning felt rearranged, and I broke a little with every change. Tell me, when did I lose your heart? Was it one night or part by part? Was there a moment I could say before your love became a wave? I miss the person you once were, the one who made my whole world stir. Maybe that's the deepest pain. You still look like him, but you're not the same. I still remember the way you changed, how home became a foreign place. I kept reaching through the dark, while you erased me from your heart. Now I am left with photographs, a former love, a broken past. I didn't only lose your name, I lost you slowly in the way you changed. Same eyes, new stare, same voice, no care. I knew your face, I knew your name, but I never knew the way you change. You packed the morning in your case and left no warmth inside this place. I watched the hallway lose your sound, while all my hopes fell to the ground. Your final glance was calm and cold. I like I was just a tale once told. I held my breath behind the door, afraid to hear your steps no more. I thought you'd turn before the street, come running back on shaking feet. But through the glass I watched you fade, and felt the cost of love we made. The way you let me go was quiet as the falling snow. No last embrace, no trembling plea. You simply stopped choosing me. I stood beneath the fading sky with one more question, asking why you walked away so calm and slow. That's what hurts most, the way you let me go. I found your sweater on the chair, still holding traces of you there. The mirror caught my tired eyes, a face still learning your goodbye. I changed the sheets, I moved the frame, but every corner knew your name. The evening poured across the floor like lonely waves without a shore. My phone stayed dark beside my bed while old conversations filled my head. I searched each word for one small clue to find the day I started losing you. The way you let me go still follows everywhere I go. You gave no storm, no final fight, just turned my morning into night. I keep the tears I never showed, like broken glass along this road. You made goodbye look soft and slow. That's what breaks me, the way you let me go. Was I a room you passed through once, a fading song, a setting sun? I gave you all my fragile years. You gave me silence dressed in tears. Maybe someday I'll understand how love can leave without a sound. But tonight I miss the girl I knew before she gave her heart to you. The way you let me go left winter living in my soul. I loved you past the closing door, even when you loved me no more. Now I am learning how to stand without the shelter of your hand. Still every lonely night will know my deepest wound is the way you let me go. The hallway sleeps, the night moves on. Your side is cold, your light is gone. I close my eyes, but still I know I'll never forget the way you let me go. You came back with a softer face and filled the dust in our old place. I let your hands come close to mine, believing broken stars could shine. You said the past had made you wise. I saw tomorrow in your eyes, but something changed beneath your smile. You only stayed a little while. I heard the distance in your voice, but love made hope my only choice. I built a bridge across the pain, turned around and left again. You walked away from us again and left me standing in the rain. I gave our story one more page. You closed the book and left the stage. I trusted every word you said. Now lonely echoes fill my bed. I thought this time our love would mend. You walked away from us again. The flowers dried beside the wall. Your number waits, but I won't call. A suitcase mark lies on the floor, a silent shape beside the door. I found your note beneath the glass, 3 little lines about the past. No reason why, no farewell, just quiet words that broke the spell. The evening train moves through the town, its distant sound pulls darkness down. I watch the street beneath my pain, knowing you won't come home again. You walked away from us again and tore the stitches from my pain. I gave you trust with open hands. You disappeared with all our plans. I kept a place for you to stay. You packed your heart and slipped away. I thought we'd reached a better end. You walked away from us again. The first goodbye was sharp and fast. The second one cut twice as deep. Because I knew how leaving felt, still gave you promises to keep. I wasn't asking for the stars, just honest love without these scars. A steady hand, a faithful view, a home that didn't lose you too. You walked away from us again, but I won't wait beside the rain. I'll take the pieces you ignored and carry them beyond this door. My heart may shake, my eyes may cry, but I won't beg for one more lie. You chose to leave what we could mend. You walked away from us again. Your footsteps fade, the street turns still. I miss you now, perhaps I always will. But if you turn and call my name, I can't be yours to lose again. You left your silence on the chair beside the coat you used to wear. I watched the evening lose its glow while you found words to say you'd go. No shaking hands, no tearful eyes, just one deep breath and tired goodbyes. I searched your face for one last sign, but you had left before that night. I could have faced the truth somehow if you had fought to keep us now. But what still cuts beneath my skin is how you let the end begin. It was the way you let us end, like I was never a love or friend. You closed the door, you turned the key, and left our years behind with me. I could survive a broken dream, a bitter truth, a final scene, but I still cannot understand how you released my trance. two glasses by the sink and stood there longer than you'd think. One held a mark of faded red, the other waited cold and dead. The train lights crossed my bedroom wall. I heard the midnight city call. Somewhere beyond that moving glow, you built a life I'll never know. I kept replaying every day to find the moment love gave way. Was there a crack I couldn't see, or did you simply tire of me? It was the way you let us end, no wish to heal, no heart to mend. You dropped our future from your hands like fallen castles made of sand. I would have stayed through harder years, through sleepless rooms and honest tears, but you chose distance over pain and left me calling out in vain. I never needed perfect skies, just honest words and open eyes. I never asked for endless spring, just courage when we lost our wings. If love was gone, you could have said the tender truth before it bled. Instead, you watched me hold the thread while every hope inside me fled. It was the way you let us end that made my lonely heart descend. Not just because you couldn't stay, but how you threw our world away. I'll heal beyond this empty room, I'll find new air, I'll learn to bloom. Yet one soft question still remains: why was our love so easy to erase? The lamp burns low, night grows thin. I know we're done, I know you win, but what I mourn again and again is not just losing you, it's the way you let us end. The sky was heavy over town. I watched the first hard rain come down. You packed your coat without a word, while thunder covered what I heard. I stood barefoot beside the stairs, still hoping love would keep you there. But when my world began to shake, you chose the road I feared you'd take. You loved me under summer skies, when every day was warm and bright. But when the clouds came rolling through, I reached for help and lost you too. You didn't stay through the storm, you left me shaking, cold and worn. I needed arms to pull me near. You gave me distance, left me fear. I would have crossed the darkest sea if you had ever needed me. But when my fragile world was torn, you didn't stay through the storm. Died at 2:30. A candle burned where I missed you. The hallway filled with silver rain, each drop repeating quiet pain. empty jacket hook looks strange, a little sign of sudden change. I wrapped a blanket around my knees and heard the wind move through the trees. I once believed your steady hands could hold me when I couldn't stand, but promises are easy things when life is warm and morning sings. You didn't stay through the storm, you left before the night was worn. I called your name into the dark, but only thunder answered back. I kept the light beside the door, though you were mine no longer. My heart was drowning before dawn, and you were to help guide me. I would have stayed through every flood, through broken dreams and days too rough. But love revealed what words concealed. You ran when I needed something real. You didn't stay through the storm, so I survived the night alone. My tears fell softly with the rain, but morning found me through the pain. I still remember what we were, though every picture now looks blurred. You loved the sunlight, not my storms. You never learned to love me warm. The clouds move on, the streets turn gold. My hands still shake, but I can hold the heart you left that rainy morn. You didn't stay through the storm. I drew our future in the stars, a little home, a life called ours. I saw your shoes beside the door and thought you'd stay forevermore. I saved a place for every plan, I built my world around your hands. But morning came with empty skies and goodbye hiding in your eyes. I never knew a heart could fall without a warning, without a call. I reached for you across the room, but touched the silence and the gloom. You walked away from my dreams and tore the future at the seams. The life I pictured disappeared and left me sleeping beside my fears. I had 1,000 hopes for two, now every road feels cold and blue. You took the sunrise from my sea, you walked away from my dreams. Kitchen clock moves soft and slow through lonely hours I barely know. A faded picture guards the shelf while I keep losing parts of myself. The rain writes circles on the glass, like all the days that couldn't last. I wear the silence like a coat, and swallow every word I wrote. I hear your laughter in the hall and find no one there at all. My hands still reach across the bed for warmth that only lives inside my head. You walked away from my dreams and left me lost between the scenes. The promises we used to keep now visit me whenever I sleep. I had 1,000 hopes for two, but everyone was tied to you. Now even moonlight feels unseen. You walked away from my dreams. I wanted years, you wanted space. I wanted home, you changed your place. I planned a spring, you chose the snow. I held you close, you let me go. Maybe someday I'll learn to see a different life waiting for me. But tonight my heart still grieves for all the days we'll never see. You walked away from my dreams and nothing stayed the way it seemed. I watched tomorrow close its door on everything I waited for. Gave my faith without a clue that I was dreaming more than you. Now dawn arrives without its gleam, since you walked away from my dreams. The stars are dim, the room is still. I close my eyes against my will, and somewhere deep inside of me I still wake up inside our dream. I saved your seat beside the glass and watched the evening buses pass. The cafe closed, the street lights blinked, while all my little hopes still sank. You said you only needed space. I trusted time to slow your pace, but days became a distant sea, and you kept drifting far from me. I counted reasons not to fear and told my heart you'd reappear, but hope grew tired beneath my skin. When every ending settled in, you didn't stay with me. When I was drowning quietly, I gave you every honest part. You gave me distance in the dark. I thought our roots were running deep, but yours were never mine to keep. I needed love, not sympathy. Still, you didn't stay with me. I found your ticket in my coat, a faded date, a place we chose. The ink was pale, the paper worn, like something tender left untorn. I walked beneath the market signs, past fruit stands closing for the night. A couple laughed across the lane, and suddenly I heard again. I never wanted grand displays, just steady hands on harder days. But when my world began to shake, you chose the easiest road to take. You didn't stay with me when sorrow stole my energy. I reached for you across the blue and found an empty side. easy to release? Did leaving me bring you relief? I used to think my love could mend whatever broke us near the end. Now I know hearts cannot be tied to someone walking from your side. I can't keep begging waves to stay when every tide must pull away. You didn't stay with me, and now I face what had to be. I gather pieces from the floor and learn what lonely mornings are. I may still cry when autumn leaves brush empty sidewalks under trees, but someday I will finally see I stayed for love. You didn't stay with me. The cafe closed, the buses passed. I waited there until the last. I kept one hope I couldn't free. I stayed for you. You didn't stay with me. You said we'd grow through every year, through changing skies and seasons clear. I kept those words beneath my skin and built my quiet faith within. I pictured silver in our hair, two wooden chairs, a life we'd share. But all those years I thought we'd see became a dream that buried me. I never asked for perfect days, I only wished that you would stay. But somewhere on a winding road you dropped the future that we held. You didn't stay for always, you left before our older days. I saved a lifetime in my heart, you only stayed for the first part. I thought forever meant us two, but forever meant more to me than you. Now every tomorrow feels misplaced. You didn't stay for always. I found the map we drew one spring, marked with towns and little dreams. The ink remains, the plans are gone, and I must travel on alone. The garden grows beside the wall, though you will never see it all. I planted roses by the stone, now every bloom arrives alone. The years ahead feel wide and strange, without your hand through every change. I gave my future to your care, then woke to find you weren't there. You didn't stay for always, you disappeared between our days. I kept a lifetime in my chest while you grew tired of the rest. I saved my softest years for you, believing every vow was true. Now I walk through empty hallways because you didn't stay for always. Who will I tell when something's good? Who will remember where we stood? Who will know the girl I was before I learned what leaving does? I thought we'd watch the world grow yesterday, while you are somewhere far away. You didn't stay for always, but I still feel you in small ways, in morning songs and evening air, in all the places you aren't there. I gave you years I hadn't lived, every dream my heart could give. Now forever has an empty space, because you didn't stay.